Hey, babe.
Hey.
We're going to talk about our birth story and how little Cove decided to make an entrance into the world. Where should we start?
Probably like 2 weeks before you got pregnant.
It's not that kind of video. So I was at the hospital with my mum the day before, and we were talking with my lovely midwife, Lou, ways to induce and get everything moving. So we tried clary sage on my belly.
Everything at once.
I did everything. Because I hadn't done anything really in preparation for inducing or like getting labor started. So it was literally just like this one night. I just did everything at once and then, yep. So we did clary sage and I rubbed that all over my belly like crazy. It stinks, by the way. I do not like that smell. Have you smelled clary sage?
No.
No, it stinks. Don't do it. And then when we came home, raspberry leaf tea.
There was about 4 things that you did to induce it.
Yeah. I can't remember the other things that I did to help induce. But anyways, at like 3:30 or 3:40 in the morning, I had experienced a little trickle in my undies. Yeah, and I went to the toilet and I shouted for you because I was like, I didn't know what was going on. Jack came in and we were all just kind of looked at what was coming out of me. And we were like, that looks like it's probably my waters. So I called the midwife. She told us to meet her at the hospital at 7. Keeping in mind, it's like 3:40 that I've called her. I wasn't experiencing any contractions at this point. Oh no. He is the loudest sleeper. Oh.
His face.
We were going to go to the hospital at 7 and just relax at home until then. So at 7 was going to be, she checks me and checks how far along I might be, and then we just kind of go from there. We hung up the phone and came back to bed, and my waters kept leaking out of me, so I was like, I'm just going to go have a shower because I feel really gross now. In the shower, I started what I felt like was period pain. It felt like period pain that was coming like every minute for like 40 seconds.
Timed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally like a minute gap and then 40-second contraction well into the process of like, you should probably consider being at the hospital by then.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, it shouldn't be going this. I don't think these are contractions because I get that they're...
quick.
Yeah, it's way too quick.
I called Lou because at that point I was like, well, I know contractions, if they're shorter than 2 minutes, then it's probably worth looking at.
Yeah.
So Lou said, instead of coming in at 7, come in and like just head off in 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, cool.
Because I was 39 weeks and 2 days pregnant. So, and it was happening so fast. Like the contractions on the drive to the hospital, I'm contracting and like squatting while I'm contracting while I'm walking to the hospital ward, like the birthing center.
Lou came about 5 minutes later.
Yeah, which Lou was amazing. Lou is our midwife, and the birth center at Royal Brisbane Women's is like, highly recommend trying to get into there because it is just an incredible service that they give you. The contractions were just getting ridiculous. Like they were getting really painful. My goal was to do it naturally, like completely natural. Ultimately, that didn't end up working out. I ended up getting an epidural anyway because it was just way too painful for me to deal with. It was a breeze from then on in. Like I was enjoying every moment. I was able to laugh and crack jokes like I usually do. Like I can't stand serious situations. Jack, though, the whole time was just like, and we have like a couple of questions that came through, so I'm going to read through those. So what was the length of your labour? Did you feel supported in all your birthing choices? Did you need any medical intervention, stitches, etc.? So excited for you all. So the length of the labour was about 5 hours. I felt incredibly supported through all the choices that we were making. My midwife was very good at just explaining to me what was going on and what needed to happen if I needed to get like an episiotomy, which is where they cut you a little bit. It reduces the risk of like a severe tear. But I didn't need any intervention other than I had a guttural tear inside, so that was like 3 stitches, and then I had a bit of a labia tear, but it was so small that they were like, we're not going to stitch that can just heal on its own. So how's postpartum mental health going? Postpartum mental health was pretty good. I went through the baby blues for a little bit. Hey,
A week and a half or so, like it would just dip at evening time, so
yeah,
your body basically follows the sun.
Yeah. There's this couple, Kay and Tay, and Kay explained it really well. I think I shared it on my Instagram story where she explained it as like the nighttime scaries, and it's like the sun goes down and her mood goes down. And I was like, that explains it so well. So I was dealing with that for a little bit. It's starting to go away more like into this new role, but like back then it sucked. Like, but the mental health though, it's been relatively steady. I think a lot of people were very scared that I would dip really quickly and really heavily, and postpartum depression and psychosis was a thing that everyone was worried about. But I mean, I feel pretty good. I'm not really dealing with much in that area, which is actually a huge blessing. Something you love you did. I'm going to say the epidural. I'm really glad I did that. I love that I did the epidural, because I was actually able to enjoy the birth, and I felt like if I didn't have the epidural, I was pushing him and I would have done some really bad damage down there. So having the epidural, it relaxed me so much, and I was able to just push with the contractions, and I was able to control my breathing and the pushing, and it was a great experience. So highly recommend an epidural. Don't be ashamed about going down that route. What was your birth like? Was it everything you were hoping? And did you have a natural birth or did you have a C-section? So birth was awesome. That first period of going through the labor, like the beginning of the labor, the pain was, tolerable. I could breathe through it. But when that, I was screaming. Like,
I thought I killed her. Like, I've never heard anyone scream as loud as Gab did. Oof. And it was...
I was apologising in between each contraction because I knew I was screaming so loudly, and I was freaking all the other ladies that were like pregnant, going through their catch-ups with their midwives and all that kind of stuff. And in one of the rooms, they're just hearing this girl like screaming at the top of her lungs, and it's freaking everyone out. But I was in so much pain, and it was almost like I couldn't actually breathe through it anymore. And the only thing my body was doing was letting it out via my vocal cords. And I mean, if you know me, you know I have a loud voice, so if you can think of me screaming,
just imagine her bottom half getting removed from her top half, and that's why she was screaming. Kind of
pretty much it felt like that. Did you tear? Was it natural birth? Did you have any pain relief? And yeah, I tore. So like I said, I had a guttural tear. So that was 3 stitches inside, and a little labia tear, which I didn't get any stitches for. So I was pretty lucky in that regard, I think. What were you thinking when you were seeing the head coming out and everything? You were just like...
Oh, well, at the start, it looks like that much, and you're like, oh, that's not so bad. It's like, it'll be fine coming out. And then it just starts getting bigger and bigger. Like, and my eyes just kind of followed the size of the baby's head coming, like massive, and I was like, huge.
My mum and my sister were there, which was awesome to have them there as support as well. And my mum was holding the mirror, and Brittany was holding my other leg because I had both my legs up. So Lou was holding one leg, my sister was holding the other, and Jacques was up where I was, and I was holding his hand the whole time, which was awesome. And my mum was holding the mirror at the end of the bed, so I could see him come out, and it was like the most surreal experience. I felt like I wasn't in my body like the whole time. Like I watched a fair amount of birth videos and it freaked me out, but going through it I think was just totally different. Yeah. Really different. What was recovery like after birth? Recovery was
still recovering.
Still recovering, but I'm doing a lot better now obviously than what I did when I freshly pushed him out. I needed to really listen to my body and not push myself. We would try and go for really small walks, and I felt like my whole vaginal canal is just going to come out. Like, it was insane. I kept it up with pain relief, like with just Panadol and Nurofen to help with like any swelling down there. I had some spray to spray on my maternity pads to help with like numbing and itching and all that kind of stuff down there as well. Oh, and a peri bottle, one of those peri bottles where you squeeze the water bottle and it rinses down there instead of you having a wipe. Oh, get one of those. They're amazing. Someone asked, I need to know, did you poo yourself? No, I didn't. I pooed before we left.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there thinking maybe she's about to give birth into the toilet.
Yeah. What would you recommend to someone else to prepare? Ooh, get some maternity pads or nappies. Like, I wore nappies for like the first few days and it was just awesome. A peri bottle, get that ready to go for recovery. Get like some sort of numbing spray, pads, anything to help with itching and healing down there. And and nappies and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty much, I wasn't really prepared myself anyway, and I just kind of went with what we had.
And have your food that you can't have ready to go in the hospital, because Gab wanted sushi.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Sushi's always that go-to. It's like that first thing a lot of pregnant women want to go and get.
Jess was kind enough to deliver that to you. So.
Shout out to Jess, who also
did
filmed
videography.
filmed and did photos. So we're so excited to see that. She was incredible. Like, if you want to have someone just to film, just her presence there, she wasn't in the way or anything, but she was like an angel. I mean, she was dressed all in white, I think, because she had work as well, but she was like an angel, just floating around and like in the corners, and, you know, just kept to herself, but like also was a part of the whole experience, like, you know, chatting with everyone and all that kind of stuff. It was just everyone that was in the room, I felt like was just meant to be in the room. Like, it was something that God really, like, Sophie, a friend of ours, she ended up working that day and came in and was like, I want to be your second midwife. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So she came in and she helped birth Cove, and
Yeah, there was like 6 people in the room.
it felt like a lot, but it was also like, for me personally, it was actually something that I needed. Like, everyone that was there was the perfect amount of people that was there, and I think it was just a really great experience. Gosh, when he came out though, everyone in the room was crying. Like, there was not a dry eye. There's something so powerful about witnessing your body go through that, and whether you go through it like via C-section or naturally or anything like that, just the woman's body and what it's capable of is just like astounding to me. And I've developed this newfound appreciation for my body and what it can go through and what it's capable of. It's an incredible experience. It's just that after period where you have to actually leave the hospital and become parents. That's when it's like, so we don't leave the child here and we just go home? Nope, we have to bring the child with us. Do you want to say anything?
I think you really got to put a lot of thought into if you want one of these or not, because it's not like
Yeah, it's true.
it's not like a week's worth of work. Like they do say, it's one of the hardest jobs you can do.
Yeah. But I think when you have a really great supportive partner, it's just like, it makes it so much more easier. Mind you though, just a heads up, if you're going to be a new parent.
He's peeped on my hand twice already.
And he's peed on me. I can't express to you the excitement of hearing a rumble in his pants. When he hasn't pooed in a while and he finally poos, it's like you're so excited to change that nappy, and it's like the world is just all filled with colour again. And
You could just keep that to your imagination, but yeah.
But yeah, so it was a really great experience. Yeah, but won't be doing that again for a little while. We're going to just enjoy this one for a bit, I think.
Yeah, I already got a vasectomy.
Anyways, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Peace out.
Peace out.